Bonjour, bonjour, comment ça va? Ah, just joking. I probably had that for a second. We are not doing French. We are going to talk about writing. And specifically, I am going to talk about descriptive writing. Now, descriptive writing, it usually describes a single topic. It's considered nonfiction, but you can do descriptive writing about fictional things like Star Wars or unicorns or whatever. For your first work that I'm going to get you to do, I want you to pick a real thing, something that would be nonfiction. All right, so descriptive writing, it usually needs a little bit of research. I have included a couple links of some kid-friendly encyclopedia type sites that you can use. Now, like I said, descriptive writing, it's going to describe one single topic. So you need to pick the thing that you want to describe and what you want to write about. I did an example, and mine is about raccoons. So you could write about race cars, you could write about horses, you could write about rocks or space or anything at all that you would need to explain to somebody what it is or something that you're interested. Maybe you really like ice cream and you want to write a descriptive report about ice cream. That's great. Whatever topic you want to do, make sure you pick something that interests you. Now, descriptive writing, you're going to need to do at least 4 paragraphs. And I'm going to include some information below so that way it'll help remind you guys about what I'm looking for. Your first paragraph is going to be an introduction. A good example of that would be say I'm going to write about rocks. A good first sentence for that first paragraph would be there are 3 main types of rocks. They are sedimentary, metamorphic, and igneous. And then you would go on to introduce it some more. Your first paragraph just introduces the topic as well as you can and says something general about it. Your next 2 paragraphs are going to be a little bit more specific, and you need to decide what you want to write on. So let's continue this rock example. Maybe your next paragraph would be about volcanoes, because volcanoes have a lot to do with rocks kind of changing states and becoming different types of rocks. And then you could do another paragraph about what people use different kinds of rocks for. Your last paragraph is going to be a conclusion where you kind of restate some of the big ideas that you said and just kind of wrap it up into a nice little package. So you're going to need a minimum of 4 paragraphs. You need an introduction. You need 2 paragraphs where you talk about more specific things in the topic, but they need to be about the same thing. And then you have a conclusion. If you want to add more paragraphs to that middle part, by all means, go ahead. That's great. Let's say you're talking about horses and you want to do a paragraph about the history of horses. You want to do a paragraph about the kinds of sports that horses are used for. You want to use a paragraph for how horses were really important for transportation before cars. And then you want to do a paragraph about the different kinds of braids you could put into a horse's mane. Whatever. You can keep adding more paragraphs to the middle, but you got to make sure you have introduction, stuff in the middle, and then a conclusion. All right. You really want to include like a title, maybe a little bit of a picture, some illustrations. That stuff's going to help your reader understand what you're talking about. I've included my example below so you can look at it. But I'm going to read this to you guys, and that'll give you a little bit better idea of what I want. Excuse me. Like I said, my writing is about raccoons, and I did mine in 4 paragraphs, and I used, sorry, I'm going to move this so it looks like I'm looking at the camera. Perfect. All right, and I used the same encyclopedia websites that I'm going to give to you guys to write this. All right, so here's my introductory paragraph. If you think there's something wrong with it, by all means, let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. Raccoons, and I've got a little picture. You'll see it better later. There are 7 different species of raccoons, but the most common one is called the North American raccoon. Raccoons like to live in the woods, but can live pretty much anywhere. They have dark patches of fur around their eyes, and it looks like they're wearing a mask. That's my first paragraph. So all I did was I introduced what I'm talking about. There's lots of kinds of raccoons. The most common one that we know is the North American. Looks like they're wearing a mask. Nothing too special about that. My next paragraph, I talk about what they like to eat. All right, so let's look at my second paragraph where I'm only going to talk about what raccoons like to eat. Raccoons are famous for getting into someone's trash can. They are omnivores. This means they eat both meat and vegetables. Raccoons will pretty much eat anything they can get their paws on. Raccoons will sometimes rub their food or rinse it if there is water nearby to clean it. In the wild, they like to eat bugs, fish, rodents, fruit, eggs, and plants. My second paragraph is done. I only spoke about what they want to eat. Now I'm ready to talk about something else, so that's going to be a new paragraph. My third paragraph is more about where they like to live. Raccoons like to live in hollow trees or on the top of buildings. Sometimes they gather in groups, but they usually live alone. They are nocturnal, which means they are usually active at night. Raccoons have even been known to live in people's attics. They don't seem to mind living around people. Raccoons can live up to 20 years, but in the wild, they usually don't live past 5. They are often killed by people because they are pests or for their fur. Third paragraph is done. I just talked about where they live, how long they live, that's it. So now I'm at my fourth paragraph. I'm going to do my conclusion. So I want to say a couple main points from each of my other paragraphs and then wrap it up. Let's see how I did that. These furry little critters are found all over the world. Their little snouts and small ears make them look cute, but they are very mischievous and can be dangerous. Some people call them trash pandas because they like to eat garbage and resemble a panda. So for my last topic, sorry. For my last paragraph, I spoke about, where they lived. I spoke about the way they looked, and I talked about how they were mischievous. That's something I mentioned before already. And then my last sentence, I just thought it was funny to include the word trash panda because it's hilarious to call them that. I mean, it probably hurts their feelings, but I'm not going to be too concerned about that right now. So you guys get what I mean. I got 4 paragraphs. All my paragraphs make sense together. They flow a little bit, and my paragraphs in the middle are about specific topics. Here would be an example of a bad paragraph. Raccoons like to live in the woods. One time I was in the woods and I think I found some raccoon poop. Another time I was driving to Walmart or maybe Canadian Tire with my mom. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. But when I was there, I saw a raccoon. The end. That would not be a good paragraph because those things are not connected and they don't really have anything to do with one another. We really want our paragraphs to be about a specific thing that has to do with our general topic. To go back to my example, I had a paragraph about what they like to eat, and I wrote a paragraph about where they like to live. Another thing that I really want to stress is in descriptive writing, don't say I, don't give your opinion. We are looking for facts in descriptive writing. You're talking about, raccoons or whatever subject you choose, not how you feel about them or not what you think about them. You just want to give me facts. So try to avoid saying things like, I like raccoons because, or in my opinion. That's not what descriptive writing is going to do. You're just talking about that thing, not how you feel about the thing. All right, so you can find this below, and I'm also going to leave a couple notes about what I want from your paragraphs. Choose any topic you want, and at minimum, I would say you should probably spend about 30 minutes working on this a week, but I know some of you really like writing, so you might want to do more than that. If you want to do more, that's cool. If you want to reach out to me and set up some time to talk because you're having trouble with it, that's great. Keep me in the loop and let me know how the writing process is going. And very important, the first time you do this, it's only a draft copy. We are going to spend some time talking about revising our work and working towards a good copy. So don't throw anything out. Make sure you save it. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for listening. Have yourselves a great day. Enjoy the writing process.